Where do the children play? A generation or two ago, there was not the perception that it was dangerous to be out in the streets for our kids, whether you lived in the city or the rural areas. Parenting was largely hands off. Kids were largely on their own in the afternoon and after school to make up any kind of play that they wanted to. In the 60 years since childhood moved from the outdoors and being in contact with nature and natural things to indoors. And it's very hard to understand if you don't remember that time when childhood was mostly outdoors and parenting was mostly hands off. Instead of fields of dreams, now childhood is lived by text messaging, the internet, and television. We are in a real pickle here with our children and how they are developing while they're at the age of being a child. The deepest yearning of a kid that used to be in a hurry at home to finish their homework and finish their chores and finish their piano lessons so they can go outside and play has been lost. It is gone from this society. It is gone from this generation. It is gone from parenting. When play is child-driven, when children make up what they want to make up as playing, they're learning an awful lot of things. They're learning what they like. They're learning what they don't like. They're learning what they're good at. They're learning what they're not so good at. They're learning what they're great at. They're learning how to fall down and pick themselves back up. A great, great part of growing up is being lost as we live. And it has a lot to do with freedom and how much we have let our government into our private lives and telling us how we should raise our children, not knowing where values, morals, understanding, God-fearing lifestyles come from. All children need to be in touch with nature. It is a great part and a very vital part of growing up as a child. And the tools that a child learns when they're out in the backyards or in the parks or in the fields or at the lakefront on their own is a very important trait that helps them into adulthood. Those things, those situations, those atmospheres are being lost. At this time, children now are being grown as their children. They have attitude. They have what they feel is an understanding. A lot of it, I feel, again, is about parenting and letting the government in our lives personally to tell us how to raise our children, what morals to give them. Everything that a child does nowadays has to do with electronics. The sense of imagination has been lost. The sense of makeup. See, I wonder if a child today even knows what a stick is. In my day, you played with a stick as if it was the world. It was your horse. It was your gun. It was your friend. It sat next to you. Children nowadays without a keyboard are lost. They seem to need the internet. And a lot of this is what they're being fed and what the parents allow their children to be fed. Simplicity seems to be missing or gone in childhood, which is a very vital, valuable commodity of childhood, which helps the child prepare for the future. In adulthood, I think that play is embedded in every human being, from being a child as much as being an adult. And we must feed on that so our minds, our spirits, our bodies do not overload. But we are in a very peculiar situation in this particular century. Childhood has been lost. The recipe for childhood has been thrown out the door. Imagination has been strangled. And anything that's got to do with spirituality or faith is being challenged. You're not to give your child anything that they can't see, touch, or feel, when faith is the evidence of things unseen. The evidence of things unseen. You have to believe and dream big. This country was built on dreams, whereas you and I may ride down the highway and see a field, a farm. A developer will ride down that same highway and they see shopping malls and highways and cars. It's the imagination that we need to reinstall in our children. It's the freedom that we as parents need to take back, where we can send our children out just to play with a stick. Where do children play? Do they play at your house? Are they allowed to go out in the backyard the way the times of old? Are they allowed to go out on the front porch the way the times of old? Where do children play? Can children play? It is also important to know, as you talk to the young people that is considered as children nowadays, once again, childhood has been lost. Once again, morals has been put to the side. Once again, anything that has to do with respect is put on the back burner, because children feel that they are already grown, they feel that they hear, and they feel that they know everything they need to know from MTV and Lil Wayne videos. And don't forget JC. And the little girls, don't forget Beyonce. And anyone else who is instilling the morals in our children that the best thing you can be in life is a rump shaker on a video. Forget the idealism that you can dream to be a black president. Excuse me for saying that. We can never have a black president, can we? Is that possible? Is it real? Yes, it is. We live in a day that we need to use that as a catalyst to all of our young people, that regardless of what they say, regardless of what they teach you, regardless of what you read, you can be, you can do anything as long as you keep the faith in the ability to be able to do it. Most of this type of idealism has to come from home, has to come from parenting. I say childhood is lost. The name of this program is Where Do the Children Play? But I'm going to ask maybe next week, where are the parents learning? Today, parents are killing their children. Today, parents are friends with their children. Today, parents are partying with their children. Today, parents do not take control of their children. We thank you for listening. We hope that it put a thought on your head as to how our children are being systematically lost. Childhood has been lost. Where do the children play? Ask yourself that. Where? An important part of American life is the beginning, childhood, growing up. Your experiences as a child determine what your reactions will be as an adult. Your experience as a child determines who you will be as an adult. Your experience and growth as a child, your environment, your mental state, your mental health, your freedom as a child, just the freedom to be able to be a child is very important. And that aspect of American life in all children is being lost. It's being lost by the parents who allow things to come into your personal and private home and tell you how to raise your children. Until next week, remember the children, save the babies. Where do the children play?